Hey guys, I'm Mary. You're on my channel, so if it's true, welcome. And this is a sketchbook tour of one of my older sketchbooks. I started this in 2014 and it took me, believe it or not, 2 years to finish it. Anyways, let's just jump right in 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. Alright, so on the left side, we have the first ever sketches I did for my science fiction story. And these are the two main characters. And apparently they had really weird looking armor back then that didn't make sense. But you know, on the right there's a character design thing I did for my university application. That's back in, summer 2014 when I was applying for art school. And I actually forgot to put this into my application. That's the only reason why this drawing is still in the sketchbook. And these are studies, or whatever I used to call studies back then. So these are the first sketches for another story of mine, which I came up with back then as well. This year is for my sci-fi story a detailed version of the incredibly unlogical, useless armor they were wearing back then. But gotta start somewhere. This one is one of my favorite pages in the sketchbook and probably one of my favorite things I have ever done in the sketchbook. This was the first time I really used color in the sketchbook. And also, this drawing, I mean, it shows a character of mine, but the whole imagery of the red people standing up behind her, that really became a very personal thing for me. Like when I drew this, it wasn't meant to be personal, it was referring to the character. But on the left, there are two of my characters, Maximus and Socrates, and they are the cutest antagonist couple you have ever seen. Maybe not, but in my opinion, they are. I just love them. And on the right, there's pretty much my first attempts at figure drawing because figured, I figured that I suck at anatomy and I wanted to do something about it. So you will see some of these really, really bad figure drawings scattered across the whole sketchbook. But I really didn't do many of them. I didn't stick to doing it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the turning page. You know how sometimes when you're doing a sketchbook, you have this one moment where your art just really makes a huge step forward and you can just tell the page where this happens? This one I present to you is the page I'm talking about. I mentioned earlier that during the time I did the sketchbook, I kind of came up with 3 or 4 new stories. And here's another one. Here are the first sketches of the main characters I did. They kind of changed a lot, especially Sist and Irie. Frederick is still his old miserable self, but that was 2 years ago. I redesigned these characters 100 times by now and probably still will, but that's just how it goes. Wow! Hey, look, it's Ashley, Spencer, and Sam, the three main characters from X, my story, my oldest story, my favorite story, the one that I obsess about pretty much 24/7. I screwed this up and gave this lady a beard, and down here I tried to design aliens for my sci-fi story. More character design. In what? What? Alright, okay. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting, y'all. You know, I figured back then I suck at anatomy, so I'm gonna do something about it and sit down and practice. And you know, this worked out really well. And then my frustration with not being able to draw the way I wanted to draw hit rock bottom, which meant that I completely lost it. Instead of focusing on practicing more the kind of style I wanted to have, which is more of like a stylized realistic thing or a graphic novel kind of style, I completely screwed that. I was like, no, screw that, I'm going back to the thing I can do, which is this. I'm not sure what this is, honestly, but I could do it. You know, I started out doing really this kind of manga anime stuff like a lot of us start out like, you know? And I I was desperately trying to get away from it, but I was so frustrated because I couldn't do it because I wasn't practicing enough that I told myself I'm gonna go back to it because it's just easier to stick with it. And I was not happy with it at all. I was very, very unhappy with it. Oh my god, look at his nose. Hey, this is when I redesigned my character Ashley to have the hair she has now. I actually once had that hairstyle myself. By accident, I did not choose this. My hairdresser did it, and it was kinda weird, but now that's over, okay? That's a sketch I later did digitally on the birthday of my character Spencer. I do celebrate those things with the drawings. Is that weird? I don't know. Do you do that? I know a few people who do that, so I'm not alone, okay? I'm not crazy. By the way, this sketchbook is almost done, and you can probably see that I used only ballpoint pen in the end because honestly, I was at a place in my life where I didn't give a fuck anymore. Excuse my words, but I was at a really bad place and I could not go outside because I had really bad anxiety, and I stayed inside and tried to focus on doing the things that are fun, that I love doing, which is drawing. And it took me 2 years to finish the sketchbook because I was stressing out so much about my art, and I thought sketchbooks had to look perfect and good, and I had to learn a lot of things doing these, but no, you don't. The only thing you have to do with sketchbooks is having fun. And I kinda realized that, ironically, at literally, to put it very dramatically, at my darkest hour, I realized that all I wanted to do is having fun. And I ditched the eraser and the pencil and I took a ballpoint pen and doodled and doodled and doodled. And that's all I wanted to say about this. Peace out. I hope you like this video. I'm sorry for ranting so much. I really hope you like this video. This is a really old sketchbook. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm also proud of it, and I will upload my next sketchbook someday, if you want to. Till then, see you later, and bye bye.